Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. So today, this is going to be kind of a pay it forward kind of day. So I mentioned that I'm going to be traveling soon, so I've been doing a lot of research. And in doing research, it made me kind of realize, like, there's things living in New York I take for granted that people coming here probably have questions about that I do every day. So I am going to do sort of like intermittently a pay it forward series of videos for helping people to figure out New York, like a New York 101, if you will. So today in New York 101, I'm going to teach you how to use the subway, right? I do it all the time, I take it for granted, but if you're not from New York, it could be confusing, it could be overwhelming, there's a lot of different lines, and it's unique to figure out if you're not used to it. So let me help you figure it out. First, you gotta find the subway. Sometimes they're really obvious, like this one in Union Square, or also Times Square really stands out. But there are other times where it's not quite so obvious. But generally they look like this, with the green railing, and also sometimes they could even just be random stairwells in the side of a building. But when in doubt, look for this green and white orb. That is really the symbol for the subway stop is here. So look for that. All of the subway stations have a subway map. You could also pull this up on your phone on the MTA website, but you could see the spaghetti strands of the subway, and they run uptown and downtown. Downtown will also lead into Brooklyn, where uptown will lead into Queens or possibly into the Bronx, depending on the line. You'll also see that a lot of the lines in Midtown, they're generally running straight uptown and downtown, so you don't have to worry too much about Brooklyn, Queens, and the last stop per se if you're staying in the Midtown area. You just have to pay attention to, is it going uptown or is it going downtown? And New York City is laid out like a grid. So if the numbers are going up, like if you're going from 4th Street to 34th Street, you're going uptown. If you're going from Times Square at 42nd Street down to 14th Street, you're going downtown. Another thing that you have to be aware of is that, especially on weekends in particular, there are sometimes planned closures or reroutes or suspended lines. It's available on the MTA website. Next up, how do you pay to get on the subway? You have a few choices. You can go to the ticket booth, you can go to one of these vending machines and get a metrocard, or you could use Omny, which is tap to pay. This smaller machine, this one takes credit card only. It will not accept cash. The larger machine will accept cash or credit card. So these operate on a touchscreen. Sometimes they're not quite so sensitive, so you might have to poke it a few times. Select your language. Then you have a few options here. You have the fast metrocard, which is sort of like a preloaded, it's a set amount, it automatically includes the dollar fee. You could select a metrocard, which gives you a couple of options, or you could select a single ride. So if we go here and select metrocard, we have a few options. If you already have a metrocard, you can refill that card, you could check your balance, or get a new card. If you get a new card, there is a dollar fee for it. Then a regular metrocard is when you add money to the card and it's pay per ride. Unlimited ride is a fixed amount, and that will be unlimited rides for that fixed amount. And you can see here when I click regular metrocard, it gives me some options, but it also has other amounts, and that allows you to type in any dollar amount that you want to add to your metrocard. If we go over here to an unlimited ride, you have the option of the 7-day for $34, or there's also a 30-day. So if you're using a metrocard, you're going to swipe the card. It'll show you on that little screen what your balance is. If you're using Omny, you just tap your payment method right on this rectangular panel at the turnstile. There's also a way of using Omny that'll equate to the unlimited weekly metrocard, where if you tap your card 12 times within a 7-day period, the rest of the trips will be free after those first 12 trips. Now that you're through the turnstile, you have to figure out where to go. Some train stations only have one line and it's pretty straightforward. There are other train stations that have multiple lines, and you have to not only figure out your way to the train that you're looking for, but also if it's going uptown or downtown, or if it's going local or express. So there's a lot of details you need to pay attention to, but the signage is really good, so pay attention to these signs. On platforms that have boarding on both the right and left side, the signs will indicate if it's uptown or downtown, and they would look something like these. So this train is going uptown. One thing to pay attention to so you know where you are, especially when you're looking to get off the train, are on the poles, the station names are posted. Some of them it will be on the walls as well, but generally speaking, like this where it says 14th Street, this is generally what you're looking for as you pull into each station. Safety is so important on the subway. These yellow safety lines, stay behind them, don't cross them until the train doors are open and you're actually boarding. Some of the stations, not all, have these electronic boards and they can help you navigate the line that you're on. It'll tell you the upcoming stops, the direction that you're going to, and it also will let you know what all of the different connections are. Once the train pulls into the station, stand to the side, let people off the train first. Then you can board. New Yorkers are in a rush, we're in a hurry, we got places to be and things to see and do. So let's keep the trains moving expeditiously. Once you're on board, you want to step all the way in to make sure that there's room for the people behind you trying to board. You don't want to block the doors. See this? See what's going on with the doors? This means somebody is trying to hold the doors and hop on the train instead of waiting patiently for the next train. If you miss the train, wait for the next one. They run so frequently. Do not hold the doors open. You can see in this instance, I hopped on an express train because we're running on the middle track and we're bypassing this station. And this is happening because this is express. So this train was going from 14th Street to 34th Street without making any stops. So I got off here in Times Square because one, it's where a lot of people end up, and two, it's a big station. So just like when we had to pay attention to the signs when we were entering into the subway, we also want to pay attention to the signs as we're leaving, because a station like Times Square has multiple exits. This exit only exits to 40th Street and Broadway, but I want to get closer to the heart of Times Square, so I'm going to walk further down the platform. You could see this sign is saying I could exit here and it would be 41st Street, and it's also by Port Authority, but if I want to keep going closer to 42nd, there's another exit further down. This is particularly useful on days when it might be really cold or the weather might not be so great and you might want to traverse as much distance underground as you can. And again, we turn to follow the sign and it brings us to another sign. The signage in the subways is excellent. There's not a lot of quiet places on the subway for me to wrap this up, so I figured I'd just come home and just wrap it up from here. So that was sort of like my 101, my tutorial of how to use the New York City subway system. It's relatively straightforward. There are some nuances, but the signs are incredibly helpful. The one thing I don't think I expressed very clearly is about the express versus the local. Those signs on the platforms, it would say like Broadway local or express. It'll say on those signs on the platform if it's coming in on the right side or the left side. So sometimes the stations, if they're coming in on both sides, sometimes one way is uptown, one way is downtown. Sometimes one side is express and the other side is local. It's a little confusing, a little bit nuanced, but the signs are very, very clear. So pay attention to those signs and they should get you where you're going. So I hope this was really helpful information for everybody. And also for my New York City locals that follow me, if you have any tips and tricks for navigating the subway system, put in the comments. Let's help each other out. You know, when you're coming to a city that you're not familiar with and you're trying to figure out how to use the public transit, it can be intimidating and it can be overwhelming. Let's try to make it as easy and as smooth a process as we can. So with that, I am done for the day. I will see you all real soon. And until then, stay inspired by everyone. Take care.